What's up guys, Houndish here, and today I've got some Destiny 2 stuff to talk about, including an exclusive Sparrow that you can get, which looks like it'll be revealed soon. On top of this, possible Cabal themed gear inside of the new trailers. There's also a few other things, including a western kind of hand cannon and some other stuff that I wanted to look at in the trailers, and even more bizarre merchandise for Destiny 2. So first up, there's been a bit of a leak about an exclusive Sparrow that you can get in Destiny 2, and this is via virginmedia.com. So for Virgin Fiber customers, it looks like there will be some kind of exclusive Sparrow coming to Destiny 2. This is actually found through Google search. The website or the web page with this information has actually been taken down or is unavailable, so this is likely not supposed to have been released yet. So I actually have two images for this, and it says level up to Virgin Fiber for your exclusive Sparrow in Destiny 2. Speed is of the essence, but you also want to do it in style. This September, Virgin Fiber customers will be able to traverse the world of Destiny 2 looking sharp thanks to a new exclusive Sparrow. Claim your code by entering your account details on virginmedia.com/redeem Sparrow. So we have yet another kind of exclusive promotional thing happening before Destiny 2 drops. We don't know when this is actually going to become available. We also don't know which countries this will be available in. Obviously it's Virgin Media, so if you don't have Virgin Media internet or fiber in, your country or in your area, and of course if they're not your internet provider, then this will not be available to you. But I find it interesting that they're doing this kind of like loot driven exclusives, especially when they're potentially as narrow as this, right? Not necessarily that many people, relatively speaking, will have access to these particular exclusives. It's kind of the same with the Pop-Tarts thing. I believe they're only available in the US, but this is really just what happens, guys. Big releases like this and all of these bizarre promotions, it's really a take it or leave it kind of situation. Up next, I wanted to point out some possible Cabal themed gear. So in the new competitive multiplayer trailer, there is a clip of this Warlock kind of emoting at the end, and we only see the Warlock for a very brief couple of seconds. You'll notice the hand cannon that they're holding as well, which I'll talk about in a moment. But if you look at the armor, it looks somewhat similar to Ghaul's armor in a couple of respects. You've got kind of the layers of what look almost like leather going across right there, and then you also have these kind of golden circles, almost like valves or buckles of some sort, which you also see on Ghaul's armor. And when you take a closer look, you can see this icon on the armor piece, kind of like an arrow or something like that, and this is kind of reminiscent of some of the Cabal logos. At the Virgin pre-beta event in the UK, there were actually some arrows on the walls which looked essentially identical to these, so it appears that this could be some kind of Cabal themed armor. I'm not necessarily saying that it's raid armor or anything like that, but it's definitely worth taking note of the similarities between these armor pieces, those icons that appear to be related to the Cabal. I personally think this could be a Cabal related piece of armor. Also interesting is that this is a Warlock and they're wearing a kind of spaceman's helmet right there, or kind of similar to the Takenaut. My name is Bife actually pointed out a Titan in this trailer that appears to be wearing a helmet very similar to the Takenaut from Destiny 1. Also, the Starfire Protocol was spotted inside of this trailer, so we could be looking at possible exotics returning in Destiny 2, or they could be, legendary versions, they could be skins or themes, some kind of transmog. There are a whole bunch of possibilities with this, and we'll have to wait and see. If we look back to the screenshot of the Warlock, you can see the hand cannon that they're holding right there. It is very similar to a kind of Tex Mechanica style weapon. This one appears to have some kind of skin, so you've got this kind of gold section, and you can see a wooden handle right there. In another piece of gameplay from the trailer, you can see a very similar, or what is possibly the exact same weapon, apart from this time it has the very kind of worn, rusted look. Now some people believe this could be an exotic, and I think that is entirely possible, but from seeing the clip with the kind of worn, rusted version, it looks very similar to the kind of set of weapons that the Scathlock is in as well. We've seen all of these weapons both with kind of like upgraded skins and then really kind of basic skins, and they're kind of worn down and everything like that. And on top of this, the hand cannon we saw in this trailer, it is a kinetic hand cannon. If you look back to the kinetic slot in one of the reveal trailers right here, you can see a weapon that has essentially an identical model right there in the thumbnail. So I do believe that this is not going to be an exotic personally. I think it's a legendary that sits in the same set of weapons that you kind of start out with that are really basic and either are upgraded or replaced by better versions. But of course, we'll have to wait and see down the road. Also in this trailer though, it's worth noting you see a Soros rocket launcher right here in the clip with the broadsword, and if you freeze frame right here you can see that it's black and it has the Soros kind of logo on the side of the weapon right there, which is really cool. There are a couple of interesting things to talk about in this trailer. So one of the snipers actually body shots a player with what appears to be full health, and the weapon is doing 315 damage. This is courtesy of Mercules on Reddit, who actually broke down a bunch of these interesting things you'll notice about weapons in the trailer. Obviously a sniper doing 315 damage is going to consistently body shot with no kind of issue. There isn't a notification on the screen of a bonus or a perk on the weapon doing anything. There are also some other interesting things. So the SMG right here, you'll see that it does 14 critical damage, which is the same amount we saw in the beta, but then you see the same SMG do 26 critical damage, and again it doesn't appear that there are any perks active. You'll also notice that Sunshot right here is doing 60 damage to the body, and then you see the Sentinel Titan's Shield Bash, which is essentially the equivalent of the Void Shoulder Charge. This was actually not available in the beta build, but it is one of the skills. So you guys wondering about that shoulder charge, that's what it is. But this was seen doing 220 total damage, which I think is actually higher than shoulder charge in Destiny 1, and that is an easy one-shot kill, and we know that shoulder charge doesn't do that, or didn't do that, in the build of Destiny we've played so far. So essentially this suggests that they scaled the damage in this trailer very differently from what it actually is in the game, essentially to look more fast-paced, right? The time to kill is greatly decreased in certain clips. I know a lot of people were talking about this trailer saying, wow, look at that, look how fast-paced it is, look how kind of spammy it is. And personally, I don't think this is representative of the build they were playing at the time necessarily, or even the build we're going to get. I think this build was all about pacing for trailer footage, you know? You've got all of these multiplayers which are potentially quite fast-paced, right? Things like Lawbreakers, which is coming out at the moment, they are marketed as fast-paced multiplayers, and Destiny 2, from what we saw in the beta, doesn't really play like that. So I think it's a marketing move to make the PvP look kind of more intense than potentially it actually is. Finally, I wanted to let you guys know about some new Destiny 2 merchandise, this time coming from Numbskull. So we've seen Pop-Tarts, we've seen energy drinks, we've seen all the new figures, the Mega Blocks, everything else that's going on, and now we've got some pretty cool stuff from Numbskull right here. So you can see that there is a kind of little ghost keychain right there, as well as a ghost mug, a Guardian bathrobe, and Destiny 2 scented candles, which is pretty unexpected to say the least. There's also a ghost candle holder, which is pretty neat, and then there's a Viced kind of snapback cap. You've also got a Viced steel mug, a Destiny 2 steel mug. You've got wallets, more keychains, baubles or Christmas decorations, a Traveler stress ball, oh my lord, just all kinds of crazy stuff that you wouldn't necessarily expect. So if you guys are into any of this kind of merchandise, I will leave the link in the description below. And there are the new McFarlane figures which have started to circulate in the US, I think through GameStop, which is pretty awesome. I need to try and get some of those. I gotta try and get my hands on some of those over here in the UK, but I think that about sums up this video, guys. Just a look at a bunch of stuff you may have missed, as well as that interesting exclusive Sparrow, which is set to be revealed sometime soon, I imagine. So let me know any thoughts you have on this stuff below, guys. If you have enjoyed the video though, a like is very much appreciated. If you're interested in purchasing Destiny 2 for PC, I do have a link with Games Planet. Games Planet are one of the few official Battle.net key providers, and you can save yourself 5% off Destiny 2 for the deluxe or standard edition by following the link in the description below. I also want to say a huge thanks to you guys for all of the support on the channel. We've just hit 70k, which is absolutely insane. It's been, you know, just madness, and this is before Destiny 2 even drops, so I really appreciate all of the support from you guys. Hopefully we'll have a cool way of marking 70 or 75k, which I'll talk about soon. For now though, I appreciate you watching the video as always, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.